Federal Premium Ammunition, surgical precision, terminal results. Bushnell, performance is the only thing. Safari Club International Canada, first for hunters.
Well, let's kick off this Coyote episode by going way back into the archives.
Yeah, and you're not kidding, Kent, because we are literally going to go back to seasons 1, 2, and 3. Now, I know Kent and I, we've always said, you know, when you first start a TV show, you kind of want to burn your first seasons. But to shoot coyotes, we're going to dig out those episodes.
It's evening. I'm set up at another ranch place not too far from my house. This fella has a lot of cattle and called me the other day, said the coyotes are coming right into his feedlot, so I'm over here this evening trying to call some coyotes out. Haven't seen anything yet, lots of sign, lots of tracks, so let's get set up and do some calling. Wow, those coyotes would not get up. There's cows in a pen back over here. I snuck in this morning, got in here a little late. I didn't realize that coyotes were bedded right down. Oh, here comes another one. Not stop. He kept getting closer and closer and closer. I'm twisting around in between these bales trying to get lined up on him. Tipped him over though. I think he's only about 100 yards. Now he was perfect at 200, 120 yards. I wanted to shoot him a little further out there. I thought he was gonna see us moving around, but oh well. Mangy dog dirt nap right there. Of the fact that all those coyotes laid down and started sleeping. And I snuck over to the edge of the trees. I got my 10 yards that I wanted. Now I'm in the clear. I'm just going to get the camera back on them because they're going to start standing up here soon. And The shooting's gonna start. It's that time of year that the coyotes start pairing up, looking for mates. See, there's a pair down there, so hopefully they'll work their way across this opening towards me and I can get a shot at one or maybe both of them.
Well, Ken, you know, I have to admit, that was a long time ago. I mean, it really was a long time ago. But you know what? Boy, did we knock down some dogs in those first few years.
Yeah, we were younger and a little sprier, but we were pretty deadly with those coyotes. So, you know what? That was a lot of fun. We've got more action coming up right after these commercials, so stick with us.
This segment is brought to you by Federal Premium Ammunition, Surgical Precision, Terminal Results.
Thanks for coming back. We are going to jump forward now to season 5 of our coyote hunting. And Dean, what do we got going on then?
Well, this is when we used to, way back when we first started the show, we did the Predator Challenge.
Yeah.
And actually, this is in season 5, I believe, was the last year that we did it.
Yeah.
Only because we started heading into some international hunts and stuff like that. But I think the real reason we stopped doing it is I just got tired of you kicking my butt.
Let's go see some coyotes.
I just saw a coyote come over a small little hill and drop into a low spot. So it might show up here very close. Well, I was sitting in those bales behind me there. Like I said, these coyotes kind of surprised me. They come up over the hill fairly close and had to quickly adjust to make the shot. But I'm pretty sure I put the smack down on that one coyote. So the mate is down across the other side of the field looking back. So obviously the one that I shot at probably didn't get too far, just disappeared behind the hill. So let's go over, pick up the trail and go pick up this coyote.
Well, we had to wait for that coyote to get out of the line of sight with the house. He moved to head the hill as a backdrop. And then all I kept getting was shots of his butts and his head, but my shot and my cameraman, trusty Jason there, says that we got a coyote down. I'll tell you, this Federal 55 grain ammo, salvage gun, Bushnell, that is just a bad pill of medicine for coyotes.
When he disappears, you're gonna have to shift. Okay.
Well, even though I have the advantage of hunting in a province that's full of coyotes, you guys, you made it challenging for me to keep ahead of you.
Well, that year we did. Most years you just cleaned our clocks, but that year we gave you a little bit of a run for our money. And you know, the one thing I really want to say about that though, Kent, is what a difference between the British Columbia coyotes and the prairie coyotes.
Yeah, we've got some big dogs out here. They're big and healthy. They got lots of deer to eat, but I'm out there. I'm doing my part.
For sure. So anyways, make sure you come back because again, we have tons more coyotes to shoot. We're only halfway through the show.
Taxidermy services provided by Hunters Union and Ray Wiens Taxidermy. And thanks to these other fine sponsors.
Well, welcome back, folks. And yes, as always, we're heading back to Manitoba to watch Kent do some coyote hunting.
Yeah, you know, not only is it important for me to manage it for the wildlife, I do a lot of this work for the ranchers, the landowners that allow me to go deer hunting and waterfowl hunting. They have cattle in. And one of the things I like to do is help them out, because if they've got a coyote problem, we all have a coyote problem. So I'm heading back out, see if I can help those ranchers.
You know, I never get tired. I know you laugh after every time you shoot a coyote, but I still snicker when I see it too. One thing I got to say though, Ken, like your dogs are healthy, incredibly healthy. As a matter of fact, I think the only time I've seen your dogs have anything is when they have mange, and even that's rare, but that's not the only disease.
No, I mean, we do have rabies in the province. It's mostly carried by foxes and skunks and stuff like that, but coyotes can catch it. But I think that's a great topic for Lethbridge College's Conservation Connection. Rabies can affect any warm-blooded mammal, including humans.
In North America, rabies is increasingly rare in people, with only 1 to 3 cases reported annually in the United States, and sometimes even fewer in Canada. Contrast that with parts of Asia and Africa, where the World Health Organization estimates as many as 60,000 human deaths a year from rabies, where domestic dogs transmit the virus in 99% of all human cases there. In North America, our low numbers for rabies are largely due to excellent prevention and control programs, but rabies remains a serious threat and a sustained eradication effort is in place, as once clinical signs appear, rabies is almost always fatal in both people and animals.
Avoid contact with any animals displaying unusual behavior. Aggression is the most common sign. However, in the wild, a friendly animal could also be infected with rabies.
In wild canids, the most common rabies carriers appear to be foxes, both the red and Arctic fox. Percentages vary in the breakdown of confirmed rabies cases by animals, but in general, it seems around 10% of cases in terrestrial wildlife can be attributed to red and Arctic fox, with nearly half of the remaining rabies cases in raccoons, almost that again in skunks, and the small remainder in the remaining canines, such as coyotes, as well as deer, or other susceptible wildlife on land. This is to say that realistically the risk of rabies transmission from a coyote is quite low after all.
Rabies happens in stages. Usually the first sign that an animal has been infected is a significant behavioral change. The next stage is the animal gets hypersensitive in both sight and hearing. The other thing that comes with that hypersensitivity is violence, and this is usually where the animal starts to become aggressive. The next stage of rabies is paralysis of the nerves, specifically in the throat and the mouth, and this gives the typical frothing that is associated with rabies. And then finally the animal succumbs to respiratory failure, which is fatal on all aspects of rabies.
From a conservation perspective, rabies and other wildlife viruses serve a role in density-dependent population regulation. That is to say, the magnitude of the regulating effect on the population is a function of the number of individuals present within that population in a given area at a given time, also known as the population density. A rabies outbreak is more readily transmitted between members of a population if the area is overpopulated with susceptible hosts, and an outbreak will serve to rapidly reduce the numbers of that species throughout the affected area. This loss of life by either the dumb form or furious form of rabies is often shocking to those witnessing it, and particularly dangerous in the case of a zoonosis that has the potential to jump into humans and cause death there. But these density-dependent population regulations are important because they keep populations for that species below the long-term carrying capacity of an ecosystem.
Well, that was absolutely very interesting learning about rabies. But let's head back out to Manitoba so you can knock down some more dogs.
You bet. Let's go see.
Okay, you really laid the smackdown on that dog.
Yeah, that's for sure. And we've got more coyote action coming up right after these commercials.
This segment is brought to you by King's Camo. See the difference. Now, back to Trigger Effect.
Well, thanks for joining us again. We've got one more kill from Manitoba here from last year that we never aired.
Well, it's a beautiful morning here in Manitoba. There's no wind. It's nice and calm. It looks like it's going to be clear skies today. The temperature's about minus 12 to minus 13, so it's not too cold. It's just starting to get light enough that we can see more than 100 yards. So I'm going to settle in, get the camera spun around, and hopefully some dogs will start showing up. Here's a coyote. You gotta love those magic mornings. It's dead calm. I didn't come in and do any calling. I just came in and set up. Fantastic. Had a coyote come in. It looks like a nice big healthy dog. About 150 yards. Just at legal shooting light. I'm looking and I'm looking. Yeah, that thing's moving. It looked like a tuft of grass. He must have been in a low spot and he just popped up. So it took me a little bit of adjusting to try and get swung around on him. I'm kind of sitting here on an exposed hillside, and the snow is really crunchy, and I'm squeaking and crunching, and he's looking, and he knew something wasn't right. He started to move away. I had to whistle at him. Got him to stop, adjusted the camera, smoked him.
Well, we're going to take a major shift in gears because everything you have seen is usually minus 30 bundled up shooting coyotes. But actually, we went down to Texas last year and we were doing a hunt down there targeting javelina and black buck. However, we also had the opportunity to go after some coyotes.
Yep, we got to hunt with some great friends of ours down there. I must say their coyotes are a little bit different than the coyotes I'm used to here in the prairies. But it was a lot of fun. They do the same kind of stuff that we do up here for managing for their wildlife, their whitetail, their black bucks, their javelina, everything like that. So let's go down to southern Texas and see how we make out on Texas coyotes.
No matter where I go, it always seems to turn into a coyote hunt. We just got settled in, and sure enough, out comes a coyote. Of course, me being a coyote hunter, I'm like, that guy's going down. They don't want him in this area, so I just got a nice coyote. I don't know, that's probably about 200-yard shot. He came across the trail real quick. Deans goes, "There's a coyote." I'm like, "Oh, shoot!" And he ran across. He came back across again, couldn't get a clear shot at him, did some squeaking, he came back out.
Okay, if no one sees the irony in that, you obviously didn't grow up in the same era as us, because Kent and I are killing ourselves laughing because literally that was the coyote and the roadrunner here in Texas.
Well, Kent, that was absolutely incredible. You know what? This whole episode, I mean, we shot dogs in British Columbia and Manitoba and Texas. And, you know, it's a lot of fun hunting coyotes.
Yeah.
But we're also doing, you know, as you had mentioned earlier on, it's part of our responsibility in managing predators.
It is. I mean, it hones your skills as a hunter.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can successfully hunt coyotes at close range, you're doing something right. I mean, they're a very wary animal. It helps out our wildlife. It helps out landowners and ranchers. I mean, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, I think people can see that when you're hunting.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This whole episode has been a lot of fun. We want to thank you, the viewers, for watching. We want to thank our sponsors that help us put all this together. And make sure you come back next week for more Federal's Trigger Effect.
This has been a Thunder Boys production.